Hello and welcome back to the TV Show Club, the club where we talk about TV shows that I've been recently watching, viewing and enjoying. Let me know what you've been recently watching and enjoying, and if you've seen what I'm about to talk about, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. So I think I've come to a realisation with Star Wars shows that if no one's talking about it, if you go on Twitter and not a single person seems to be watching it, if you ask people, are you watching this, and they say, I've not really been watching it, it's good. Like, in such a wrong, contrived way round, whenever a Star Wars show doesn't seem to be talked about, it seems to be brilliant. And honestly, I beg you, if you have not given Skeleton Crew a chance and you love Star Wars, give it a chance. Because this is probably one of the most underrated Disney projects that I think I've possibly ever seen. It frustrates me so much. We are, as a community of Star Wars fans, are so vocal about how horrific and awful things like Acolyte are. We are so quick to pick up on things that aren't quite right in Ahsoka. But as soon as you get shows like Skeleton Crew or Andor, people just go silent. When Andor was coming out, Twitter, TikTok was silent. Skeleton Crew, it's the same thing. And don't get me wrong, they are stark contrasts of shows. Andor is this just incredible show of just grit and sort of just the dark aspects of Star Wars, and it's just a brilliantly written show, and the acting is just superb. It has some of the best monologues. Skeleton Crew, I didn't know what to expect going into it. I honestly had no expectation. I watched a few trailers, but I didn't really know much about the story, and I went into it blind, and my God, is this not just what Star Wars feels like? It feels like this is what Star Wars should be. It had something magic about it that just made me smile with pretty much everything that was happening. I love it so much. If you don't know what Skeleton Crew is about, we essentially follow this group of 4 kids who, they're on this planet called Ad-Aton, and they find a ship. Like, life there is a little bit boring, and they just have to take tests and then go and do work, and life's very set up and set out for them. Obviously, the whole Star Wars thing, they want to go and explore the universe. But when it just divulges from there, it's just brilliant. They find a ship and they go off into space and they start this pirate adventure. And it's part of Star Wars that is so prominent and key in things like Clone Wars, but has just never really been truly explored. And this is the way to do it. Like, this had pirates and just the sort of like underworld side of Star Wars and the mystery side, and it was so good. At first, I wasn't sure on the kid actors, but over time, they grew on me. They have a slight charm about them. They're quite just like fun to watch. Neil is the best character that they've added to Star Wars in a long time. Every time Neil's on screen or Neil's in danger, I'm like, Neil, get out of the way. He's so good. But each and every one of them brings something different to the party, and it's brilliant because they just have this sort of childhood naivety and joy about everything, and they're not too sure. But the standout performance has got, like, Jude Law is phenomenal in this. He brings such an interesting side to it because you've got all these young naive kids. He could have, gone easy on them, but he didn't, and he just had some absolutely stellar scenes where he was just horrific to watch, but in such a brilliant way. He plays such a good villain, but also someone who's quite clearly flawed in many ways and actually doesn't really want to be a villain, but has also sort of been pushed into this life, and it's so good. And also, this show has so much life around it. Every single destination and place they go to, every planet, every ship they're on, feels so alive. All the things I complained about with Acolyte were how everything was so close up. We were in High Republic, a part of Star Wars we've never seen before, and I feel like I've still not seen it. We didn't see anything. We didn't go to Coruscant and feel like it was this thriving place. It just felt like, here's just a over-the-shoulder shot of a character talking. But this had just, like, so many wide shots and vibrant colours, and the sets were brilliant, and it wasn't just CGI. They used a bunch of practical, and you can tell that a bunch of it's practical. This show looks phenomenal, but every single place is so alive with different cultures and species, and like, it feels weird at times. It's a bit like Star Trek-y, but that's what you want, because you want to explore these different species and go to different places, because that's what space is, and that's what Star Wars should be, and it feels so fun and vibrant, and oh, I just love it so much. That's the other thing, the cinematography and the way it's shot in melding together a bit of CGI and also practical, and it looks so good. Not once did it distract me, or did I look at a shot and think, oh, that just doesn't look right, it doesn't look good. People's prosthetics and costumes were clearly like actually a physical costume and a practical costume. There's not just, let's CGI this fox-looking pirate guy. And sure, the mouths don't move perfectly with like how they speak, but it actually doesn't matter, and it looks just, oh, it's just so good. I can't describe. It's just, this show has such a special feel to it that has been missing from Star Wars for probably since the original trilogy. Like, don't get me wrong, I love the prequels, and I love things like Andor and Rogue One, but for different reasons, completely different reasons. But Skeleton Crew hones in exactly the fun, mysterious adventure, space adventure side that Star Wars should be. This encapsulates it all to me. Like, even down to the little tinkle at the beginning where it goes ding, 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 ding. Like, they changed the Star Wars intro theme, and it just sucked me in every time, and it's so playful, and oh, it's so good. The show keeps you consistently intrigued from the mystery that it is surrounded by the planet that they're from, because they go to different once they escape the planet or accidentally leave the planet, they find out that people don't know that this planet exists, and it's actually this like mystery treasure planet essentially. And oh my god, and just even after finishing this season, there's still so many questions about the planet. It answers virtually nothing. There's so much left open, and what I love as well is there's no cameos. There's no mention of people we know. There's no pauses for a character to walk in so that you can go, oh, that's that guy. You just love the show because you love the show, not because you love Star Wars. It works on its own. This doesn't even have to be Star Wars, and it works. But the elements that it adds in, the fact that, okay, spoilers, if you don't want to hear, then click off, but Jude Law uses the Force, and throughout you're like, wait, is he a Jedi? Is he not? Like, who is this guy? And then when he starts to use a lightsaber that he finds in this treasure place, just that adds to another element. Just seeing a lightsaber is enough of a cameo. Just these little sprinklings of the New Republic and just having a lightsaber and the Force just encapsulates Star Wars in such a brilliant way that you don't need to shoehorn characters in. You don't need to add just pointless cameos for the sake of cameos. Seeing X-Wings come in to actually save the day, and the Republic being what the Republic is supposed to be. Oh my god, I was worried for a second because there's so much mystery around the planet, and they go to see this sort of higher being who is like the controller of the world, and for a moment I thought it was going to be some like Palpatine clone and it was going to all link to the Palpatine stuff, and I thought, please no, and it wasn't. It was its own thing, and I've still got so many questions about it, but oh my god, is it good. So all I can do is beg you to give this show a chance. If you want just a fun space adventure that's not too deep and serious, and it's not got too many interlinking things to the main series, you just have a good show that looks superb, that has some great acting in it, that feels like fun, joyous Star Wars again, watch Skeleton Crew. because I need it to get renewed for a second season. And if people don't watch it, that means it's gonna get like cancelled. And just please watch it. But anyway, let me know if you've seen Skeleton Crew. What did you think? And I will see you next time on the TV Show Club.